This is going to be an in-depth tutorial on how I shape and dye my eyebrows at home. So this is before, and this is the after. I feel like every single girl on the face of the planet has a horror eyebrow story. They got their eyebrows waxed or tweezed or threaded super duper thin by somebody, or that somebody was actually themselves and they got a hold of tweezers way too early on in life and just tweezed the shit out of their eyebrows. Both of those things happened to me. I got them like waxed completely off and then I tweezed them to death myself. And thank God my eyebrows actually grew back. I was like 11, 13, around there. I have not gotten my eyebrows waxed in 10 plus years since then, and I will not let anybody touch my eyebrows except for myself. We're starting with shaping our brows. I'm gonna bring you guys in a little bit. You can see some hairs that are kind of like all over the place, but I keep up with my brows about 1 to 2 times a month. And if I'm like getting ready and putting makeup on and I see like a little spare hair, I'll just pluck it. But like doing my brows, I only do it once or twice a month. You guys are gonna see this is like a whole routine. Before you pick up the tweezers, a concealer and an angled brush, I'm going to draw out a line of where I want my eyebrow to end, like my desired shape. Always have a close-up mirror. I only tweeze my brows from the bottom. I leave the top as is. I don't really have that many crazy hairs. I do my boyfriend's brows, and if you're like him, like just like a hairier person in general, if you have hairs like going up in your hairline, what I do for him is I just take like a little facial razor and I just kind of shape it and make this straight and make this straight, but I don't tweeze because it is so easy to get carried away with the top of the brow. Even for people who are experienced, the top of the brow can be dangerous. I very much suggest to stay away from that. When you have both of them done, I kind of connect the concealer in the middle like that. Unless you are truly blessed, I don't think anybody's eyebrows are perfectly symmetrical, and the only person that's going to notice is you. We are going to try and get them as symmetrical as possible, but literally my brow hairs grow in like different areas. Like this one goes up higher than this one on the arch naturally, and I'm fine with it, whatever. This is the point in time where you want to stare at yourself in the mirror straight on and make sure they're the same shape and even, that this part isn't higher up than this part. Take any powder, translucent powder, setting powder, whatever, on a little brush and place that on all the hairs right there. The natural oils from our skin, if you have any skincare on, and obviously we just put concealer on, and be very slippery. If you have a problem with your hairs like slipping out of your tweezers, try putting powder on it and then see if that helps, because it really helped me get those like really stubborn fine hairs that don't want to be tweezed. Now after all of that, we can finally use our tweezers. I use the Tweezerman tweezers. These are just the best that I have used. They're at like every single drugstore. And I'm basically just going to get the hairs underneath that line. I always get the very like for sure ones that are far down. Then you're gonna get to a point where there's a few little hairs, like right here, I have this one, where it's a little bit under the line, but you're not sure if you should pluck it or not. The way to be sure is to take a spool of your tweezers and grab that hair and pull it down. See what your brow would look like if it wasn't there. Because sometimes if you take that hair off and it was super long, like in your brow, it can make it look like there's a huge hole, and it would look better if you just kept it there. If you are doing your eyebrows and you're super anxious and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should pluck that hair, don't pluck it. Just leave it there. It's so much easier to have one hair that kind of looks out of place than plucking it and having a huge hole in your eyebrow and regretting it right after. But I do want to take this hair off. I cannot find my little face razors anywhere at the moment, but at this point, if you have little blonde peach fuzz that you want to get rid of, you would just go in and shave those off. I'm fine with having it there. I used to shave my face a long time ago and realized it just made me break out, and it's so hard to shave your face and be like sanitary at home. So now I just rock the peach fuzz. This is that eyebrow all tweezed. It looks so much better to me, even if we didn't tint it. I'm a very natural brow person. This is like my natural brow shape, just cleaned up. I don't want to crazy take the tails off and stuff like that. But if you have no idea where to start with your brow shape, take a little angled brush like this, or just like an eyeliner, something that you can mark, and you want to go on the bridge of your nose like this. I don't really have anything on the brush right now, but you would go like this and mark, looking straight forward, place it right in the middle of your pupil, and that's where your arch is. And then the outer corner of your eye, in like this, and that's where your brow will end. And that can kind of give you a map, because I know a lot of us can have eyebrow blindness. I know that's like a huge thing right now. People talking about their blindnesses, but we can be like blind to things. One of my main ones was plucking too much here, and I did not realize how silly it made me look for the longest time. And I would always do it to like all the way over here, and it just did not look good. So I'm gonna pluck the other side. I don't really touch the front part because I don't really need to. I thankfully don't really get any hairs right there. With a little micellar water on a cotton pad, remove all that concealer. It's a lot more clean. I'm a bolder eyebrow girl. I just like the way darker eyebrows look. Like when I see a girl with like platinum blonde hair with dark eyebrows, I love that so much. I use men's beard dye. I've been using this stuff for years. When I had like dark brown hair, this stuff was amazing because I would dye my eyebrows way darker to match my hair. The biggest tip that I can give is to always go lighter than you think. It looks a little like the same shade or like a little bit lighter than my hair color. You're gonna see it's darker than that. It turns out darker. There's obviously actual eyebrow dyes that you can buy. This works for me. I've had these tubes for like a year already, and there's still quite a bit in there. Before we get that dye on our eyebrows, we're going to cover the entire area around the hair with Vaseline, petroleum jelly, Aquaphor. It really doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something like petroleum jelly based. This just ensures that the dye isn't gonna stain our skin, because this stuff stains skin really bad. Actually, one of the reasons why I do it, because I kind of want my skin underneath the brow to be tinted, because it makes it look a lot fuller. It looks like you have eyebrow pencil on, but you don't have any makeup on. You want to make sure you don't get any of the Vaseline like on your hairs or on the skin that you want the dye to actually go on. So there is a color base and a color developer. Just do this on a paper plate, squeeze a little bit out. You barely need any, and the same amount of the developer. And then I mix that up with a Q-tip. If you have your nails done, I definitely suggest wearing gloves. I am lazy and don't want to grab them right now, and I'm about to redo my nails, so I don't really care if it gets on there. This stuff will stain nails and you cannot get it off. Also, put your hair away because it obviously will dye your hair too. Taking a flat angled brush, this is just from like a Sephora collection one. You just want to start by filling it in. And it's okay if it's like a little messy in the beginning because we're gonna fix it. You just really want to make sure that every single hair has product on it. So once the entire thing is covered, I take a spoolie, get it a little bit in the dye, and brush my hairs. And I will kind of brush my hairs in the shape that I want them as well. And now you're going to glob more of the dye on. At this point, you're probably gonna have it out of the lines quite a bit. So just taking a clean Q-tip and cleaning those lines up. This brow is done. You want to keep a very, very close eye on your eyebrow the entire time it's developing. Like, don't just do this, walk away, and go like watch TV or something. This develops in like less than 5 minutes. And the longer you leave it on for, the darker it's going to be. We're gonna start doing our other one. Done applying this one. You can see this one has developed a little bit. As this one is developing and getting darker, I take a clean Q-tip and rub off the front a little bit because I want it to be a natural gradient. I don't want it to be a very block dark eyebrow on the front. So that's why it's super important to like watch it low-key in the mirror while it's developing. Sit here for like 30 seconds and wait for this front to develop a little bit more so I can wipe it off.
A few minutes later.
It can look a little scary. It's probably only been like 3 minutes. It's a very quick process, and yes, I know this looks absolutely terrifying and it's like, girl, that doesn't look good, but just wait, okay? Taking micellar water again on a cotton pad, and I always remove the first eyebrow I did first because this one needs like literally like 30 more seconds to fully match up. See, like that looks not as crazy as it did. This is one eyebrow done. You can see that the skin underneath is tinted a little bit, but not too crazy. That is my eyebrows, no makeup on, done. Just a little bit darker, and I feel like my eyebrows just don't disappear into my face, especially when I don't want to put on makeup. It makes me feel more confident, and keeping them shaped and just having that arch a little bit bolder, because a lot of my little baby hairs right here are blonde, so you can't actually see my eyebrow hairs. I'm gonna go do my makeup off camera for another video, and I will show you guys what I do to my eyebrows. Just finished with my concealer, and I'm gonna do a little bit to the brows. Now, they look pretty filled in already, but I do just like fix up any little spots with brow pencil. My goal with most self-care stuff is, yes, it seems high maintenance in the moment, but then it's low maintenance for like the next 2 weeks. The cherry on top, like a little bit of concealer on a flat brush again, like we did in the very beginning. And I'm talking like barely any. And to very lightly line the bottom. Finishing off my brows with a little bit of brow gel. This is actually a brow wax. We're out of the 24-hour brow gel, and I've been using this, and it is pretty good. And on the day-to-day, I'll go in with an eyebrow gel and no pencil after I dye my brows, just to keep them in place. And I always fluff up the front part to make them look a little bit thicker, and then I just sleek down the rest. And for the tail, I flick them out like this, and then I bring the spoolie and make a straight line so all the hairs are even. I love, like, you guys saw how much eyebrow pencil I put on. Like, this is mainly just the dye. These are the final brows. It looks like I completely filled them in with pencil. They're perfectly shaped, and I'm gonna put in a clip really quick of what they look like with absolutely no makeup on. The tint on the skin probably only lasts like a week, to be completely honest. I wish it lasted longer, but it does not. The actual dye on the hairs lasts me like 2 to 3 weeks. Where I have my sparse areas, like a little bit in the front, maybe some holes and on my arch, that will be a little bit lighter in like a week because the dye that's on my skin will be gone. But all of those blonde little baby hairs that are super light that you can't see, so it looks like there's holes in your brows, that will last like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm honestly addicted to dyeing my brows now because I don't like the way I look without it. And I feel like I just always need my brows to be darker and darker and darker. I just wanted to throw this video together because I get a lot of questions on my brows. I get asked if I do them myself or if I get them done, so this answers all of the brow questions. I don't use any brow serums. I don't use castor oil on them. Like, I don't use anything. I hope you found this video informative and enjoyable, and I love you guys so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye!
I don't know if you like the way I put my words together, but I need you to stick with me just like some birds of feathers. Or like bricks and scales, hand in hand, dropping